and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council of the City of Vineland, Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Mr. Acosta?
Here.
Mr. Franceschini is absent. Mr. Spinelli?
Present.
Mr. Vargas?
Here.
Dr. Arthur?
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the one nation, under God.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the City Clerk on December 15th, 2021 in the following manner: posting written notice on the official bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, providing written notice to the offices of the Daily Journal and the Press of Atlantic City, and filing written notice in the office of the City Clerk of the City of Vineland.
This time, Chair entertains a motion that the 2022 minutes of the pre-conference and regular meeting of February 8th and the special meeting and work session of February 15th be approved as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes. And at this time, we'll have the presentation of the budget by the mayor and our CFO.
Doing its introduction this evening. Before we get started, I want to thank Ms. Baldessaro and her staff for all their hard work on this. My schedule was very challenging this year for a variety of reasons and working on this, so I appreciate them accommodating me at some pretty odd hours and even on some holidays to get this thing taken care of. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. And we will begin. Go ahead, Norma. As usual, you'll see at the beginning the overview of what the budget index is going to be, all the way from our beginning services that are included in our tax dollars, all the way down to the accomplishments that our team has gone through in the past year and much of what we're going to look forward to in the new year. As usual, I'm proud to say we have a balanced budget yet again. Our revenues and expenditures do meet as they're supposed to, and we are compliant. Services, obviously, as council knows, but for the edification of the audience both here and at home, you can see that in our tax dollars, police, fire, EMS, Office on Emergency Management, the municipal court, animal control, and of course the LoSAP, which is the savings for the volunteer firefighters, are included in the city tax dollars. Also included will be your street maintenance, snow removal, which fortunately or unfortunately we've had a significant amount of this year. More than I would like to see, as it beats the budget up early on. Of course, stormwater management, which we've had a significant amount of changes this year from the Department of Environmental Protection in Trenton. Brush and limb removal, and of course, recreational fields, maintenances, and upgrades. We also have, of course, in our health department, vital statistics, community nursing, the rabies clinic, STD clinics, and of course, everything from soup to nuts when it came to COVID over the last couple of years with vaccines and testing. Governmental services, we start with our esteemed clerk's office. Keith, thank you for all your hard work for you and your team every single day. It keeps this wheel spinning. Planning department, administrations, license and inspections, tax collection, zoning, legal, thanks Rick, engineering and audit, uniform commercial code, the tax assessor, finance, of course our website allowing us to have our communication online, and last but not least our insurance, which keeps us all spending and spinning our heads at the same time some days. As administration full well knows what we deal with. This is my favorite slide every year. Many of you are starting to get used to this. I just wish I could get more people to understand it. But we're trying to simplify it to let people know for every single dollar that comes in from your property tax dollars, yes, the City of Vineland is the conduit that collects that money. However, this is the disbursement schedule. As you can see, Board of Education takes approximately 23 cents on that dollar. 36 cents on that dollar goes to the city, including the library's budget, which is about $1.4 million and change of that. So we're not running the city on a full 36 cents. However, the lion's share of this, meaning that majority, is 41 cents on the dollar goes directly into the county of Cumberland for the services they allegedly provide us. A little sarcasm this evening. As you can see, I'm a little feisty with the county right now. As you can see, this is the breakdown of those dollars, not just in pennies on what the dollar is, but in actual real dollars. If you look at the top, the net county taxes is a little over $47 million. And if you look down a little bit, there's also the County Open Space Preservation Trust Fund, which is a little over $400,000. So you start putting these together, and you're looking at about $47,800,000 roughly, plus or minus dollars, going directly into the county every single year. And that number grows. I don't believe they've struck a new tax rate yet for 2022, so this number is a little fluid and could actually increase, which is not what we like to hear, but we do understand that could happen. For anyone here or watching at home that doesn't understand, we follow our statutory requirements. We hit the budget on the appropriate deadlines every single year. We don't extend that unless there's an emergent service. Therefore, we are ahead of the county and frankly ahead of the state, because we are still waiting on the governor's budget address to find out what he will do as far as funding for this fiscal year, including his municipal aid. We have no idea what that's going to be yet. That could be flat, it could be cut. There's a slim chance that it could be increased, but I highly doubt that because I've yet to ever see that on our end at any level of significance. So we do our best to balance our budget in advance while we're still waiting for the other folks to follow their timelines. Moving down, you can see the district taxes, of course, the local municipal purpose tax, and then the library tax, which is just under $1.4 million. So operating surplus. So our surplus is basically our savings account, if you will, to simplify that. And it is what we do to operate each year, showing how responsible we have been fiscally throughout the course of the years. And you'll see a chart coming up next, or in the next slide or two, that'll show you where the fund balance or that surplus has at its lowest point to where it is now. In this particular budget year, we've used about $4.5 million of that surplus, of that savings, to help balance the budget, which is leaving us a remaining balance of just under $11,600,000 in savings for the city, which means we are doing well and we are healthy compared to a lot of other municipalities. We've really kept our financial house in order, especially during COVID, as challenging as it has been, because it has been financially draining on certain departments that had many unforeseen circumstances and unforeseen expenses in 2020 and 21. So we are prepared for that. So we're using just a little bit more than we used last year. And even in doing that, our ending balance is significantly higher. So we're really proud of that. And here's the history of the fund balance. You could see in 2016, which was the year prior to our administration taking office, the fund balance is at a significantly low point. I think that's what, $1.9 million and change? Yes. Right? All the way up to where it is now at over $11 million. So we've increased each year. We took a huge increase in our first budget in 17. 18 we had a slight increase, and then 19 we really started climbing the mountain. So, and as you can see, it continues to go, and we're right where we need to be in a healthy situation, where we're not hemorrhaging or hurting the taxpayer in any way, shape, or form, but we're being responsible for whatever future rainy day may come. In this particular budget, as we've implemented over the last several years, with our capital expenditures using vehicles, for instance, we are paying as you go with the majority of things that we do, from road improvements and drainage to paving projects, the heavy equipment we need, future senior center upgrades, which you'll be starting to see this year, library upgrades, which we've had in the last several years, we've been putting into them to assist them. As we mentioned, city vehicles, blight elimination, public safety, and of course, our favorite hot topic, animal control services in this county. We have added a number of things in here where we have taken away from the heavy bonding, which is basically credit for the city. Certain things you have to bond for, certain things are necessary if you need them, and you go into a payment structure like you would mortgaging your home or putting a car payment together. We've taken as much out of that long-term financing as possible which is allowing to improve the city's financial health every single year because our debt service is lower as it's been, and we are able to still accomplish more road improvements than we've seen in decades previous to our administration, inclusive of buying more vehicles and increasing our fleet, getting rid of older equipment, bringing things in that don't require significant repairs, and becoming more efficient from a usage standpoint. Funding for the road improvements and drainage. We also use federal and local aid projects that we have. We have our internal budget, which for a number of years, I would say probably for about 8 or 9 years prior to us, there was nothing budgeted in the general budget for road work. That was something we put in play immediately, so we had money on hand for different projects. And there's a variety of things that we use that money for in road repairs. We are going to continue our aggressive approach at repaving and resurfacing. We're continuing an aggressive approach. If you'll notice, sometimes road paving is taking a little bit longer than it normally would. That's not necessarily because of lack of manpower these days. It's for the fact that we're tearing up the roadways, getting underground, repairing drainage, repairing utilities, and preparing the roadways for the future. So that way we don't have to rip them open after we spend millions of dollars to pave them. We're hoping that these road paving projects last for a good 20 years before they even have to resurface them again. We're trying to be very proactive in the administration, and I'm proud of where our team has really gone with this and our contractors for understanding our vision with paving. And frankly, we've had very good cooperation with the local utilities outside of our own, such as South Jersey Gas, for instance, because they are another utility that runs through the city. They've been able to meet with our team in advance and understand a year in advance what our road projects look like. Therefore, we can alleviate some of that tearing open of the roads, especially when we put moratoriums on them not to open after they're paved, unless there's emergencies, obviously. And you can see there's a few other things. And of course, our planning continues to go multiple years in advance, and we're already planned out through 2027 and slightly beyond. For city vehicles, obviously we keep replacing the aging fleet. We have a 6-year replacement plan, and again, we are paying as you go. We are paying cash for these vehicles as we need them, putting them into play, so therefore, we're not wasting money on interest payments that aren't necessary. Blight elimination through code enforcement's budget. In 2021, we had 6 demo projects that were completed, 4 completed by the property owners at no cost to the city as well. 70 abatements were completed throughout the city, and final section of Highland Avenue abatement was completed, and it came in a little bit under the projected cost, which was great. In 2022, we're slated for about 10 demo projects that we've already identified and 60-plus abatements throughout the city. That number may grow as we find other projects. And a big thanks goes to L&I and legal, of course, with Rick, because he helps us really get these projects underway, making sure that we're following all the rules and that we can get them down and get rid of these, abysmal structures. Public safety. Obviously, we've had a huge commitment. It's no secret to our first responders here in the city of Vineland, which is all 3 departments, police, fire, and EMS. We've put 11 new officers have been hired. New equipment where we've had 18 new patrol cars and undercover vehicles purchased, and 2 of these electric bikes that they've had for inner city stuff that makes it a little bit easier for them to maneuver the streets. Fire, we've picked up a new firefighter, and 11 new volunteer firefighters have been hired in the city. Our rescue vehicles and equipment, these are brave people because they have a 107-foot aerial ladder truck. You will never, ever, ever see me on that ladder, maybe in the truck, but not on the ladder. God bless them for what they do. That's been put into service, and I believe that was the one for Station 4, right? Yep, which was good. And new EMS vehicles and equipment. Frankly, people don't realize sometimes just the intense cost that goes into EMS. These stretchers today, these striker units are some ridiculous $30,000, $40,000 a piece for these types of stretchers that we need today for all kinds of people with disabilities, et cetera. It is very expensive, but we've been doing a great job at buying these outright, getting them outfitted. EMS has been doing a very good job at working with Sue and Bobby on their capital needs as well. So we're getting a lot further along than we anticipated, but we're very happy about it. Animal control, as I alluded to and joked earlier. I might let the solicitor take this slide since it's his favorite topic. As you can see over the years, this has increased. We've been working diligently internally on coming up with some alternatives. for the cost of the animal control services, because in our opinion, the way the city is being hit with costs is not fair. And we've been paying an exorbitant amount of money considering how many animals we do gather, collect, and have to contend with through animal control. So we believe our share is disproportionately high. However, we're hoping that we will have some better news for you in the coming budget. And I thank Rick for his hard work on this. So what's not in this budget? We hear a lot about what's in it. There is no structural deficit in this budget. There are no layoffs or furloughs to our employees. There is no school tax deferral. We are paying 100%, as we always have, to the school district on their money. And of course, we are not eliminating any services either. We've actually enhanced some, have some challenges with some, but we are not eliminating anything, and we are going to continue to move forward and hopefully continue through the pandemic. And I guess, as they like to say now, an endemic sooner than later, so we can get back to some real sense of normalcy. State aid comparisons, this is what I discussed earlier with municipal aid. We're going to be awaiting anxiously what the governor has to say and how they give us funding in the municipality. As you can see, in years 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, those numbers are all pretty level, and they're slightly below all the years previous, where state aid was significantly higher in the city of Vineland. And again, kudos to our finance team, because they really work very hard in balancing this and working through our appropriations and taking in of the revenue wherever it comes from to balance this budget. And as you can see, going all the way back to 2008, we were pretty much at an all-time high with municipal aid coming in, and it is significantly less than where we are today. I believe we're probably a little over 2 million less, if that number, if I'm reading that small print close enough. Yes, thank you. So a couple $1 million is a significant amount of money, probably somewhere around, I would say 6 or 7 cents on the tax rate, in that range. So you could see where we've gone and how we've been able to balance, especially in a time where costs are rising. As we know, inflation's at an all-time high. We could see all the costs of goods, labor is up, healthcare costs are up. All these things are hitting a municipality at one time, and we've been able to do this without overburdening the taxpayers, so we're very proud of that. You can see here the anticipated projects this year for economic development. This is some of our highlights that you see, a little over, again, just shy of $61 million in projected construction investment here in the city of Vineland. And we have a couple other things that haven't made that list yet that we're working on. And if all goes well, those numbers will probably increase closer to 80 million by the end of the year. So we are still working significantly well and above our neighboring towns to market the city of Vineland, to highlight our benefits and our attributes with the utilities, with our good land prices, with our highway access, and frankly, with our stability and within our government. Some towns have a significant amount of infighting and they can't get out of their way because, frankly, personal agendas appear before good government. That's not what you're going to find here, and it's not what we've had. It's not been our mission since we've taken office. We've been pushing very hard and being on Team Vineland, and it continues to show, because every single year we are at 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, sometimes $100 million in construction throughout our terms every single year. And here's another prime example of that, and some projected additional jobs. Now we just got to kind of push some people to get back to work. This is a little listing of our accomplishments, and I'll leave it up on the screen for a minute. You know, we work very hard, and I really don't like to pat ourselves on the back, because our job is never done. But you can read what's happening up here, everything from, you know, what we're doing to make City Hall look better and more attractive, especially to these businesses and companies that are coming from the outside. We are trying to make a professional environment here that people are proud to come to work in, and also proud to visit when they're coming from the outside cities. It's extremely important that people get to see this, because now they know that we are reinvesting not just in talking about the city, but making our environment more professional and a cleaner look, and making it the crown jewel of the city. We are very proud. We use code enforcement to make sure people clean their properties and make sure they're nice and they're not blighted. Well, it took a little bit to budget it, because it was significant dollars, because this building and surrounding properties had not been touched in a number of years in a major way. But we now are putting our money where our mouth is. If we're holding others accountable, I'm going to hold us accountable. And that's why you're going to see pristine lawns, you're going to see better lighting, a cleaner building, a more vibrant look, something that's a little bit more modern. And we'll be doing the same thing hopefully with the annex building next to us at some point between this year and next year to really make this look good and have a little municipal complex here. Something we're very proud of, especially when we have newer buildings being built all around the city and we have newer facilities for the city being built in different areas. We want to make sure that our city hall really is the shining star. And of course, you know, we have some accomplishments that we want to anticipate for the new year, which is going to be a commitment to recruiting the best of the best and the brightest to be working in any and all departments here. We're going to continue our marketing initiatives throughout this year and beyond to make sure we continue to keep Vineland on the map and ever present in people's minds. Our commitment to, you know, keeping up on the aging fleet and getting new vehicles put in here and repurposed, some vehicles. Of course, our buildings as well, we want to keep updating them and make sure that roofs are good, infrastructure is good on these things. We don't want to have to tear our own buildings down because we're not taking care of them. So we put some long-range planning into that. And initiative for broadband, which we're working on creating Vineland to be its own internet service provider, hopefully. I'm going to just gloss over that a little bit because I don't want to give too many details out in public yet until we're ready to launch. But this will be a significant game changer for the city of Vineland with our technology initiative bringing us into the future very quickly. It's already gotten out a little bit, and we have companies calling and inquiring about where our status is, what we're doing, and how we're developing this, and what can they expect. And our goal is, just like the electric utility and water utility, reliable service, better price points, and of course, when it comes to internet, better speeds. In doing so, our goal is looking to attract small to mid-sized tech companies to come here and plant their roots here. Don't get me wrong, we'll take a giant if they want to come, but I'd rather build a foundation based on small to medium-sized businesses that have a better projection for long-term sustainability here in the city of Vineland. And then if you add the cherry on top, that's okay too. But we're looking at that, and it's going a long way. We've been noticed by major companies, including Amazon, which everyone has been talking about for years. We weren't prepared for them in the very beginning, like some other towns. What they have to do is sell their soul to get those distribution centers in to their tax base, and frankly, when somebody like that leaves, it cripples those communities. So our goal was to make sure that we were prepared with a very good, strong foundation before a company like that would be here, and now, frankly, they're making inquiries. So these bigger companies are noticing what we're doing and seeing our location, which we are strategically located, as many of you know, right off that 55 corridor between Atlantic City, Philadelphia, and New York. We're very close. So they could see that, and their cost of doing business here is significantly cheaper, so it's worth those extra miles up a highway to deliver. We're going to be beginning construction on a new firehouse. We'll be demoing an old facility, a blighted set of buildings on a property and repurposing that property for a new Center City fire station that is long overdue and much needed, and the new garage for electric distribution department as well. So we're continuing to move forward and push things into the right direction for the city. So the process to our budget is as it always is, but here's the timelines. We introduced the budget on February 22nd, 22, so 2222, which is kind of funny. It feels like a Dr. Seuss tongue twister today. Our public hearing will be held on 3/22/22. And then, of course, amendments if needed, which I know Keith praised there are no amendments. And then hopefully we'll have the adoption of the budget the same evening, and then submitted and waiting for state approval. So if there are any questions by council, I am happy to entertain those. I do know that the budget documents have been circulated. Thank you, Sue, for making sure that got out today to everyone. If you have any this evening, I'm happy to answer it, and if not, of course, myself or our staff will be available to answer any questions at any future date in regards.
Any questions by council? Comments?
I'm full of comments today, but I just want to thank the mayor and administration, because it's quite clear from the presentation that a lot of work has been put into this. And I'm proud to be part of the team that who has his finance in order. And this presentation clearly indicates that that's the case here. In particular, during the last 2 years in pandemic, all you read about is the different municipalities that are having such a difficult time with their budgets, with the fundraising because of, and everybody blames it on COVID, and yet we're able to continue going. I'm glad to see the new vehicles in the police department. I'm glad to see the new vehicles in EMS. I'd like to try the $33,000 bed. Is that what it was?
Yeah. It's like 40, I think they are, like between 35 and 40,000. There's Stryker, EMS. Yeah.
Is it comfortable though?
I don't want to know.
I'm not rushing to get there to find out.
Me neither, but,
Yeah, you're
but
right
at
about
that
that.
price, I'm glad to hear that we do have it so that we can provide that service to the citizens of this town.
Thank you, Vice President Acosta, and the big thanks goes to council, of course, as always, because the legislative function of approving this budget and going through it is significant, and obviously, and thank everyone for their faith in what our departments are doing, and for allowing me to have the freedom, flexibility, and vision to really move us forward with our financial skill set, because you're absolutely right. You know, many towns are scrambling and looking at taking 15, 16, 17 cents on a dollar increase because they didn't know what to do during COVID or shortly thereafter, or even right now for that matter, and frankly aren't even ready, most of them, to submit a budget for their governing bodies for approval because they're waiting on the governor to see if they're going to get some lottery winning from him at this point. You can't do that. We must be prepared. You know, if we look at a penny or two, you know, or sometimes three, depending on what's happening around here, that's a lot at this juncture, considering what we were up against and what we've done. Our solid waste budget, as you know, was decimated a little while back because everybody was home. You know, the trash increased, tipping fees were going up. You know, things were just happening. More people had waste at home more than going out because restaurants were closed. So those people that, you know, went out for a family meal of 4 or 5 people, you know, we're now having that meal at home or cooking that meal at home, going to the grocery store more. Frankly, so many people, they said the alcohol consumption had tripled or quadrupled in the area. So all those bottles or cans are getting thrown back out in the recyclables. You know, so it's the truth. I think some people in the audience had some, so they know. But it's the truth. We laugh, but it's what happened. It was something that was so unforeseen. It's still almost surreal what we faced and how we overcame that as a municipality. But I'm so proud of what everyone did here, from just standing our ground. You know, I had so many compliments from people saying, you guys were available, you were there. Every day, you know, we worked through that pandemic here. Our core staff, even when we had our people staggered or at home, but they knew the leadership was there. They knew council was still passing, you know, the resolutions and moving the ordinances forward. They knew the clerk's office was getting stuff done and prepared for you guys. They knew we were here as our core internal cabinet every single day, just trying to plan for this. So I'm really proud of what everyone did, and frankly, I'm just grateful that all of our people, you know, because so many people were lost during this, but all of our key people were able to weather the storm, even the ones that got sick, but were to stay safe, and we made it through. But as always, you know, we did it as our family, so thank you.
I just want to make one final comment. Stand our ground does not mean that we shoot somebody that comes near us.
We're not as warm either right now, but I'll take it soon.
Anyone else?
Again, thank you, Mayor, and Sue and your team. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sue, your whole team does a great job. Thank you, Ron. It's great.
Yolanda puts up with us on a regular basis, so. I try to ply him with donuts or stuff, but Sue was good this year. She wouldn't take the sugar.
Thank you also, and I would be remiss if I didn't act as Franceschini. His question is, will our tax rate go up?
I don't know, you guys get the final say. It's up to you.
Okay.
So I'll ask Ron that at the March meeting, what he's going to
Okay.
do.
I just want him to know that he was put on record.
Keep giving out raises, tell him.
Only to the crossing guard.
That's right.
All right.
We'll know a little bit more, obviously, as things go, but right now, we're looking pretty good at, you know, if anything, marginal, a couple cents at most. But we're still waiting on, of course, the governor and to see also what the county does. I mean, you know, frankly, if everybody was as efficient as our finance team was here, we would know a lot more now. But as you could see, we're right on target again. and we'll still be waiting for everybody else to pick their slack up and get back to us. So I pray that they don't come in and cut anything significant or negatively fund municipal aid. We're under the anticipation we're not getting anything more because it's kind of been the norm. However, if we did, that would be great. If we don't, we're obviously okay. But if they cut it back for some strange reason and try to reallocate resources up north like they like to do and forget about us down south, we'll have our work cut out for us a little bit. But we have some time yet because I believe he's going to be coming out with his address pretty soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr.
You're welcome. Anything else on the budget? Comments from the public? No one? That's a rarity. All right. Chair entertains a motion that nothing further on the budget, correct? All right. Moving on. Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2022-56 be adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have Resolution 2022-57, resolution recognizing Mary Vianney upon retiring from public service, effective March 1, 2022.
That wasn't a good idea. The lights went down.
Right here, stand front and center, look that way.
Hey, Keith. Is this gonna go up?
Oh, I don't know.
That should go up.
Huh? Yeah, because if it goes up, let's do it before we start this.
But after,
What the resolution read?
please.
Whereas Mary Vianney began her career with the City of Vineland on October 27, 2008, and whereas Mary has furthered the city's mission by providing valuable public service to the Vineland community, and whereas Mary has earned the respect and confidence of her coworkers and employer throughout her many years of faithful service, and whereas Mary Vianney has earned a well-deserved retirement from the City of Vineland, effective March 1, 2022, ending her public service career in the Department of Finance as Senior Account Clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of Vineland extend their sincere thanks and appreciation to Mary Vianney for a career of loyal and meritorious service with best wishes for many years of health and happiness. Congratulations. Allow me just to add, with Councilman Franceschini not here, the resolution copy for you will have to wait a week or so, okay?
Thanks, Ronnie.
We'll get it to you.
I tried to sign his name for you.
Congratulations, Mary. Enjoy your retirement.
How do you turn it on? Leftover from Valentine's Day? Leftover from Valentine's Day. What?
One minute, please. Can we do one thing before you do your presentation? Chair entertains a motion that resolution number 2022-57 be adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
It's official.
Any
Mr.
discussion
Acosta?
by council?
Oh, I'm sorry.
None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes. Sue?
Mr. Vargas?
Can everybody hear me? I just want to say this lovely young lady has been.
Kids, let's not laugh at
She's been so much fun in our office and spunky, and I'm going to miss her. And we're so glad that you were so dedicated to us and helped us. And we know that you're going to have a great retirement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No.
Everybody's saying, oh no, don't let her near the mic. So, and that's my family. So I just want to say, they are. I really had a good time working for the city. I enjoyed everybody I worked with. And it's going to be kind of, my head hasn't wrapped around it yet that I'm not going to be coming here every day. But I wish everyone the very best moving forward, and I'm very proud to say I worked for the city of Vineland. I was missing my wonderful finance people, but then you were here. I didn't want
Thank you. We go on?
Yes. I have ordinance number 2022-13, ordinance amending ordinance 2009-72 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, section 425-270 of the Code of the City of Vineland, entitled Word Usage Definitions, which is ready for a public hearing.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-13 be taken up for a public hearing and open to the public for discussion.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on ordinance number 2022-13? No one? Chair entertains a motion that the public hearing on ordinance number 2022-13 be closed.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes. Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-13 be taken up for second and final reading and adopted according to law.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-13, ordinance amending ordinance 2009-72 as amended, Chapter 425, Article 15, zoning, Section 425-270 of the Code of the City of Vineland, entitled Word Usage Definitions. This ordinance is adopted.
Drosky, please submit ordinance number 2022-13 to the mayor for his approval or disapproval.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have ordinance number 2022-14, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-14 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-14, an ordinance to amend and supplement ordinance number 8, which established the classification and compensation plans for the City of Vineland, Fire Chief and Deputy Fire Chief.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-14 be passed for first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur? I have ordinance number 2022-15, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-15 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-15, ordinance accepting the transfer of land from the Vineland Development Corporation to the City of Vineland.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-15 be passed for first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-16, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-16 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-16, ordinance authorizing the transfer of 3521 DePalato Drive to the City of Vineland Industrial Commission for $0 and sale of 3521 DePalato Drive by the Industrial Commission for $25,000.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-16 be passed for the first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council?
Great deal.
No one else? Mr. Petrosky.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-17, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-17 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-17, ordinance authorizing the transfer of 3500 and 3530 DePalato Drive to the City of Vineland Industrial Commission for $0, and sale of 3500 and 3530 DePalato Drive by the Industrial Commission for $50,000.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-17 be passed for the first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-18, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-18 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-18, ordinance authorizing the execution of an agreement of sale, deed of transfer, and such other closing documents as may be necessary for the transfer of certain city-owned industrial property known as Block 1101, Lot 17 of the tax map of the City of Vineland to the City of Vineland Industrial Commission.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-18 be passed for the first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-19, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-19 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-19, ordinance amending ordinance 86-84 as amended, Chapter 425, Section 425-72 of the Code of the City of Vineland, entitled Stormwater Control.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-19 be passed for the first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-20, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-20 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-20, ordinance amending ordinance 2009-45 as amended, Chapter 135, Section 135-5 of the Code of the City of Vineland, entitled Director of Department of Public Works.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-20 be passed for the first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-21, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-21 be taken up for the first reading.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-21, ordinance amending ordinance 2009-42 as amended, Chapter 157, Article 3, Section 157-4 of the Code of the City of Vineland, entitled Department Directors.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-21 be passed for the first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, at 6:30 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-22, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-22 be taken up for the first reading.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-22, bond ordinance providing for improvements to various roads and related drainage and sidewalk improvements in and by the city of Vineland and the county of Cumberland, New Jersey, appropriating $5 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $4,750,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Chair entertains the motion that ordinance number 2022-22 be passed for the first reading and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, at 6:30 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
I have ordinance number 2022-23, which is ready for a first reading.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-23 be taken up for the first reading.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion by council?
No, not in this one.
no.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas? Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2022-23, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the city of Vineland and the county of Cumberland, New Jersey, appropriating $5 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $4 million bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Chair entertains a motion that ordinance number 2022-23 be passed for the first reading, and that a public hearing be held on Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, at 6:30 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Now, is there any discussion by council? None?
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Yes.
We'll move now into the consent agenda items. I have Resolution 2022-58, resolution authorizing execution of a grant agreement with the County of Cumberland Cultural and Heritage Commission for 2022 block grant funding. 2022-59 is a resolution authorizing the execution of an mandatory supplemental change order number 1 to contract number C21-0062 issued to John D. Lawrence Incorporated, Sewell, New Jersey, to provide engineering and alterations to the Unit Number 11 gas compressor building for removal of the unit gas compressor. 2022-60 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of an mandatory supplemental change order number 2 to contract number C20-0079 issued to Northeast Plumbing Services, LLC, Williamstown, New Jersey, in the amount of $9,625. 2022-61 is a resolution exercising option to renew contract C20-0079 for as-required plumbing repair services. 2022-62 is a resolution authorizing the execution of agreements for various professional services in accordance with proposals received in a fair and open process. 2022-63 is a resolution authorizing an open-end contract with GM White Electrical Contractor Incorporated, Vineland, New Jersey, for providing as-required electrical installation and repair services through the Cumberland County Cooperative Purchasing System, identifier number 181-CCCCPS, bid 21-30 resubmission. 2022-64 is a resolution authorizing a contract award to a state contract vendor, Asphalt Paving Systems, Hamilton, New Jersey, for microsurfacing in the amount not to exceed $425,775.99. 2022-65 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of an open-ended contract to Colliers Engineering and Design Incorporated, doing business as Mazer Consulting, Red Bank, New Jersey, for providing testing services, super pave hot mix, asphalt, concrete, soil testing, etc., through the Cumberland County Cooperative Pricing System identifier number 181, CCCCPS bid 21-32. 2022-66 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of one Kubota R640R43 wheel loader from Cummins Equipment Company Incorporated, 717 White Horse Pike, Hamilton, New Jersey, in a total amount of $82,430.07 pursuant to a national cooperative contract agreement with Sourcewell, contract 040319-KBA. 2022-67 is a resolution awarding a contract to County Conservation Company, LLC, Sewell, New Jersey, for the grinding and hauling of brush at material handling facility for the Department of Public Works. 2022-68 is a resolution for local government employees to limit the medical plans offered under the State Health Benefits Program. 2022-69 is a resolution canceling outdated checks issued by the City of Vineland. 2022-70 is a resolution making temporary emergency appropriations for calendar year 2022, pending final adoption of the calendar year 2022 budget. 2022-71 is a resolution providing for the transfer of certain calendar year 2021 reserve budget appropriations balances. 2022-72 is a resolution providing and authorizing the payment of bills and demands against the City of Vineland. 2022-73 is a resolution authorizing the payment of an invoice to the New Jersey Public Power Authority for 2022-2023 annual dues and assessments. 2022-74 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of original and renewal taxicab licenses for the year 2022. 2022-75 is a resolution acknowledging certain requirements set forth in the memorandum of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission dated December 10, 2021, for cannabis license classes 1 through 4 for Columbia Care, New Jersey, LLC, at 1560 Northwest Boulevard and 51 West Park Avenue. 2022-76 is a resolution amending Resolution 2022-44 to correct a typographical error therein. 2022-77 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a mandatory supplemental change order number 1 to various purchase orders in connection with the new furniture workstations for the Finance 5th floor renovation. 2022-78 is a resolution reappointing Sheena Santiago as a member of the Board of Directors for the Police Athletic League. 2022-79 is a resolution reappointing Louis Quiles to the Board of Directors of the Police Athletic League. I have a communication from the mayor appointing Christopher Peel to the Board of Directors of the Police Athletic League. Request the communication be received and filed. I have a motion to refer a request to amend the Center City redevelopment plan to the Planning Board so as to allow a vacant lift truck and repair facility to be converted into an equipment rental, repair, and warehousing facility in the redevelopment district at Block 3901, Lot 9, 116 West Almond Street, and request findings of fact and recommendations thereto. Okay, so I have a motion to refer to the Planning Board a request to amend the number of Class 1, 2, 3, and 4 cannabis business licenses from unlimited to a total of 5 for each class, and limit the number of Class 5 licenses to a total of 2, and request findings of fact and recommendations thereto.
The 5 is what? That's the... 5 is the retail. So we're gonna have a second one? That's what council said that they wanted to refer over on. I just didn't do... No. I just want to make sure I have it clear in my mind.
Chair entertains a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion by council? Nothing further?
Mr. Acosta? Yes. Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur? That's all the formal business I have.
Mr. Petrosky. Any comments from council at this time?
I made my comments already. More than enough.
Councilman Vargas?
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate Mary Vianney again on her retirement. Enjoy it, and also welcome to the club. Thank you, Mary, for your service.
Councilman Spinelli?
Yeah, I'd like to, again, thank the Finance Department for a job well done. Eamon's job, there's no doubt about that, and Sue and her staff do a great job. Thank you very much, and congratulations to Mary. She's a sweet lady, and she's going to be missed. She's always pleasant when you talk to her, and just always has a smile. So we need more people like that.
Also want to extend my congratulations to Mary on her retirement, and I wish her well in her endeavors and whatever she chooses from this point on. Thank the mayor and finance committee also, and also congratulations to those PAL appointments. Hopefully they will serve our children well in the coming years. Anything else? Nothing further? Chair entertains a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli? Mr. Vargas?
Yes.
Dr. Arthur?
Thank you. Have a good night. Be